did you end up falling in love?
That happens easy.
That's right.
If you let it happen.
Most of my groomsmen here that are staying in the condo were dating girls at the time that they were living with, that they met on dating apps. So that made me feel far more comfortable downloading one and trying it out.
Well, I swiped right on Tinder. But before we met, we actually we talked over text a bunch, and right away he made me laugh, and so I was like, okay, I'll give this guy a chance. He's funny.
Sal is obviously just gorgeous and wonderful, and I think if I had seen her in a bar, I would not have had the courage or confidence to go up to her. But we matched on 2 different dating apps actually, and then met up for a drink, and it was like instant. I just was just like completely smitten by this big curly-haired blonde. We went to go get a drink in a bar, but it was very packed. So we ended up driving down the street to this little French bistro and had a drink and dessert and talked for 2.5 hours. We closed the place out.
Our waitress could tell we were on a first date, and behind his back, before we left, she turned to me and she was like, I mean, he swept me off my feet.
That was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of dress under here.
Every time I went out with him, he was like just surprising me over and over. And our second date, we actually sat and we had like a 4-hour dinner where we just talked and we completely lost track of time. And I just never felt so comfortable with someone. And I had so many friends tell me like, oh, when you know, you know. And I thought that was like, okay, whatever. Until I met Austin, and then I knew. I knew right away.
She had a rule very early on that we weren't allowed to see each other more than once a week. So that way we could very slowly have a relationship blossom. You want to take things very slowly in terms of just like even just seeing each other, just like to make sure we really like each other. And that rule lasted about a week and a half. And then we were seeing each other 2 nights a week, going out on dates, then 3 nights, and then all of a sudden we're inseparable.
Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted it to look like.
Sounds like a line, but when you know, and we knew. Yeah, or at least I did right away. Right away, yeah.
Not everybody, when they ask you a question, actually listens to what you say. You know, actually really wants to know what your life is like and, you know, what your day-to-day is like. And I just felt like he was so genuinely curious. And then there was something about him that was immediately so kind and so generous of spirit. And I was smitten.
I came in here and was like, I love how it looks. So wedding heaven, yeah.
So they just like started seeing each other, and I remember we were at Halloween Horror Nights and like we went to the bathroom together and she was like, what do you think? Like, I really like him, I don't know. And yeah, I just remember being like, this is different.
You know, actually, the thing is, right away, I went home and my roommate, Janzi, who's one of my bridesmaids, I was talking to her and I was like, I don't know, like he's really nice and he like cares what I think about, and I don't know, he just seems like he really likes me. And Janzi was like, yeah, Sal, those are good. Those are all really good things. I mean, all my friends, when they met him right away, were like, who's this guy, you know? Yeah, it just kind of worked. It just worked. It was crazy. I had never felt that before.
Travels well, travels smart, pure steam from Hot Steam.
I think on Facebook we had like 1 or 2 mutual friends, and I'm sure over the years we were probably at the same party at some point. But again, I never would have approached her because it's just so gorgeous. It was nice having that like, hey, I can prove I'm funny over text and a normal person, and get kind of past that first step.
So I was living there when she met Austin, and my dog at first like shat in Austin's shoe. And so that was like a big fun story. So, but then very quickly, he won over my dog and everyone. So.
There was this place in Worcester, Massachusetts, where the young people would go to dance. And I was at the dance with another fellow that I was dating that night. And my husband had just returned from the service. This was after the Second World War. And he came up and he knew the young man that I was with. And we started talking, and he just kept looking at me and looking at me. I'm like, gee. And sure enough, a few days later, he called me and asked me for a date. So I did. I started dating him, and that was the beginning. I got married in 1954.
1954.
No,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And then I came to America.
That is
Yeah.
okay. She said Germany.
Oh my goodness.
She said Dutch. Mama spreekt Dutch.
Crowd
Kraut. Yes.
How did you meet your husband?
in Germany.
In Germany. Husband is in a soldier, American soldier.
Yeah, but I was working for the babysitter, but then he came to the house and we lived in a little shack. I mean, we had to run from the Russians.
The Second World War too.
Yeah.
She was 30 years.
It was no fun. He worked for the American consulate.
Well, even though Dennis's father had grown up in town, people were a little suspicious that he had brought home a girl from Germany. So my aunt and uncle, my father's sister and her husband, befriended them, became very, very close to my husband's parents, and they were also very close to my mother and father. So the three couples became friends socially, spent a lot of time together. Now, my husband and I were the same age and went to school together. But right from the very beginning, I knew I was going to marry him. And I think it was like in 5th grade, I remember telling you, I have to learn how to spell Neslucin because that's going to be my name.
I think they were just about 10 years old or so. And Jane said to me, and she pointed at Dennis and she said, I'm going to marry him. She knew back then, I'm going to marry him, she said. I said, that's good, Jane.
So we were friends all through grade school and high school, and then actually at the end of senior years when we officially started dating. And then we got married, and we've been married 42 years. Mm-hmm. And the families have all remained friends. My mom and my mother-in-law live less than a mile apart and spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, Miriam. If she don't come, we miss her, we call her. So we see her every
We see her all the time.
every other day. Or
Which is
something.
great, yeah, you know.
She probably told you that I didn't have a chance, that she was had her eyes on me from the get-go or something like that. That she told her mother she was going to marry me when she was like in 6th grade or 5th grade or something. I don't know. I've heard that story a few times and got it messed up. What she doesn't know is that I had my eyes on her too.
When we were married about 10 years before we had kids, and we moved back to Webster to be near our families.
Being each other's people isn't really determined by bloodlines or proximity or legal status, but by commitment, by making a conscious decision to show up and love someone day in and day out, by deciding that you will weather the best and the worst of life and of each other together. Love is what makes people our people. Now, people can change, of course, and they do. When I first met Austin, he played football. Let that sink in for just a moment. Change is not something to fear when we are committed to loving someone, because love can be bright and beautiful, but it can also be gritty and stubborn. It's willing to admit when we are wrong or terrified or disappointed, or realizing that we are more comfortable writing movies about sports than actually playing sports.
He's my best friend and my best man.
Are you good at sports?
No, no, but I'm very good at going to the theater.
I'm good at baseball, I'm good at soccer.
Good segue.
I'm
I'm good at black tag.
I'm good at reading Shakespeare.
Everybody wants to be around Austin because he's just fun and he's funny, but he's got a big, big heart. So he's very, his family thinks of him as very sweet and compassionate and very thoughtful. They'll always say, oh, he sent me a note, or he called me, or he just said the most beautiful thing to me. So Austin has a very, very sweet heart. He did as a child. He's a cuddler. He likes to cuddle and hug, and he's very affectionate. And he's been a movie nut forever. We had so many movies in the house. We bought movies and 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 movies. And he would write in his journals about movies, and he would talk about movies forever. So this was something that just kind of started when he was little, that became a passion that went all the way through, which is so much fun that he gets to do what he loves. Because his grandfather used to say to him, if you love your work, then you never work a day in your life. And he always quotes that back when he says how much he loves his work.
Sal's an actor and a writer, and I'm a writer, so I moved in 2010 to LA to go to grad school for film, and then just been there ever since. No, my friends and I were just realizing I moved out there summer of 2010, so it's been almost a decade, which is just like, just blink.
Oh, you must be so proud as a mom. Like,
Well, he's a sweetheart. I always say God gave me good clay.
Besides being personable and handsome, I mean, just look at him in that tuxedo, ladies. What do you think? Huh? Yeah. Wow, yeah. He was kind, and he was caring, and he was honest, and he was genuine. And he seemed to care an awful lot about our dear Sarah. And that meant so much.
She's so sweet. She's so thoughtful. Always for my birthdays, she makes me the most elaborate, amazing cakes.
Oh
Like
my
you would
God.
think that she is a professional baker.
Yeah.
But Sal is so giving and so lovely, and she's the friend you call in the middle of the night when you need to bury a body. You know?
Yes.
She will do that.
She's that one.
She will.
Yeah, she's just, I also think, I was thinking about one of my favorite things about Sal, and I think it's just her voice. Like her voice is like this velvet butter voice. Like I don't think that Austin could ever get in a fight with her, because then she'd open her mouth and start talking and be like, I'm out,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
win. Because
Yes.
your voice is just, I mean, her
Yes.
singing voice is beautiful, but her
Yes.
speaking voice is this like low, sultry,
Yeah.
sultry lady. So I love that about her too.
And I love her name. I love Sal.
Sal.
Like,
Even though
I just-
Dennis was calling her Sarah, and I was like, who the
No,
hell is
Dennis.
Sarah?
None of
Dennis.
that noise.
It's Sal, okay?
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, Sal's great.
But yeah.
So
Our
Janzi,
bridesmaid
my
Janzi.
bridesmaid, made the candles. She has a candle company. And the scent is Forbidden Forest, because they're all like Harry
Wax
Potter
company.
themed.
Yeah, there's extras.
Smells
Please take a
divine.
candle.
Is that
Yeah.
Janzi wax? Everyone
for us?
buy
Have you
Janzi
smelled
wax.
them?
And I fell in love with her right away. Of course, who wouldn't? They are like best friends, which is so important. That you know, the old cliche, marry your best friend. But they really are silly together. I think they're very open and vulnerable with each other.
Okay, so I thought he was gonna propose to me at Thanksgiving because we were supposed to see his mom, and then a few days later we were supposed to see both of my parents. So I was like, I was gonna do it then. And I had been teasing him actually because we were supposed to go to a Beyonce concert, and we knew we wanted to get engaged. So I had been teasing him all week, being like, you know, you really messed up because if you proposed, I could be taking my fiance to Beyonce. And he was like, oh yeah, you're right.
We were dating for about 4 years at that point, and we have a little 8-pound dachshund mix. He's about the size of my face. He's very tiny, and we take him for walks very often at this, it's called the Silver Lake Reservoir. It's like about a mile loop near our house, and there's a beautiful little meadow that says no dogs allowed. But one Saturday morning, I had the ring in my pocket, and we went to take the dog for a walk. And I said, hey, we should go to the beautiful little meadow. And there's a sign that says no dogs, and she said, no, we can't do that. But luckily, there was a guy already breaking the rule, and I said, look at that guy, let's just do it. And as soon as we got behind some bushes and had like a little moment of privacy, I asked her to turn around, and I was already down on my knee.
I turned around, and at first I honestly thought he was like doing that joke, I'm tying my shoe thing. So my first response was like, oh, come on. And then he really pulled out the ring and proposed, and I just started crying immediately. So I was very surprised that it happened that day, and it was perfect.
I have footage of her. I do this bit all the time. Whenever I take a picture of her, I always end up taking a video. because then she's smiling like, are you taking a video again? And she gets mad, and every Valentine's Day, I put out my collection of that year's worth of those videos, which I got one of her and her dad last night. As she was saying goodbye to me last night, when she said, okay, I won't see you until the ceremony, I said, can I get a picture so that way I remember this moment with you and your dad as you were saying goodbye to me tonight? And I took a video of them, and they both got really angry. So it's like the bit that I've just been doing to her for years. And after I proposed, I immediately said, can I take a picture of you holding the ring? And I was taking a video, and so her reaction is just wonderful. Yeah, I have just dozens and dozens of clips of her going, are you taking a video? On every vacation, whenever we're here, with family, at theme parks, yeah.
He's taking a video.
So I had to.
You had to.
Friendship amounts to a lot, I believe. You become very close to one another.
She's pure joy. She is beautiful, funny, charming as hell, witty. I've never met someone that's made me laugh so much. I've never met someone that makes herself laugh so much either. Like, she's just so much fun all the time.
I ended up breaking a tiny phone. Bleh. Let me try that again. Breaking up. Yeah, okay, cool. Great. Doing great.
I tend to laugh a lot when I'm around people. And when I thought about why that is, I realized it's because I got to grow up with Sal. So I had a lot of practice. And from the time we were little, we were always just making up our own games and characters and voices and stories. Sal, of course, is an actress and moved to Los Angeles to pursue that. But her first movie, I got to star in with her. It was a movie that we wrote together with my friend Brian called Ice Cats Attack. It was about the mascot of a minor league hockey team in Worcester that is now defunct, called the Worcester Ice Cats, that we were obsessed with. We went to 10 games their inaugural season, and I still have the ticket stubs.
She just always, makes everyone laugh and probably get all teary about it, but yeah, no, she was my first friend, and the fact that we're still friends says something, so.
Yeah, it's just so funny because I feel like Sal's one of those people that you meet and she's, drop dead gorgeous and like a phenomenal actor and like kind of has it all, and so you're kind of like, ugh, she's probably gonna be a da-da-da-da-da. But then you get to know her and she's like such a weirdo and just has such a wonderful personality and is such a wonderful friend, and she's someone that like I can talk to about my problems like over and over again, and you know what I mean? And she's never like, okay, we can't talk about this anymore. She's always there for you when you need her. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. You guys, you look so amazing.
Oh my God.
I love it. Work. I'm gonna get touched up so I look as pretty as the rest of everyone else.
Beautiful.
Goodbye.
Oh my God. You look tiny.
Thank
you.
you.
Great.
You look
Thank
teeny,
you.
teeny,
You
tiny
do.
little
Teeny, tiny
flowers.
here.
That's
You
what we
do.
wanted you to know.
Where's the bride? She's tiny.
Oh my God, where is she?
Besides being beautiful and talented and creative, willing to take chances, this beautiful young woman is also passionate about what's right and about what's wrong. Forever willing to give her all, and always compassionate to others about their feelings. Yeah, I need a moment.
Sal and I met about 11 years ago at Syracuse University in our Go Orange people. And in our drama department, the incoming freshmen are assigned bigs throughout the drama department. We fill out a questionnaire and we're paired up. And I just feel really grateful that I put that the only sports that I cared about was the Red Sox, because I'm fairly certain that that is why we got matched up. Because Sal was my big in college. So she was given to me before school even started as a friend to have, and oh my gosh. I can't even explain how our friendship has evolved, because Syracuse made us friends, but life made us sisters. And Yeah, Sal's pretty much the most important person to me, and oh, Austin. When I met Austin, apparently there was quite a bit of pressure on this meeting. And we went to dinner, and then we went back to my parents' house, and my dad sat Austin down and said, "What are your intentions with our Sal?" So we grilled him. We didn't make it super easy for him. But I quickly came to learn that Austin and I are extremely similar. And you've become like a brother to me. So I just feel so honored and grateful that I get to be in your lives and that I get to watch you love and support each other. And yeah, that I could be here to weep through your whole wedding.
Okay, just a second. All right. Okay. We are gathered here in God's presence to witness the marriage of Austin and Sal, surrounding them with our joy, our support, and our prayers. We had known and loved Sal for several years before I realized that she had become one of us. It was clear from the beginning how happy she and Austin made one another. My sweet and generous and hilarious brother-in-law had obviously found his match, and Sal has always been warm and welcoming to those of us who come along with the Austin package.
Yes. Now, how do you know it's a fancy wedding?
Well, you told me.
He's always been incredibly nice to me and kind and generous, and none of those are the reasons why I know he's great for Sal. It's because he makes her laugh and is silly and goofy with her in that way that I remembered from growing up with her. One of the first times that I realized that Austin was going to be around for a long time and a serious relationship for Sal was Austin was just joking around with Sal's roommate Janzi at the time in these goofy voices that I knew immediately was like, I know where that voice comes from. And just seeing Austin fit right in and fit comfortably into that same goofiness, that kind of let me know that he's the right one for Sal.
What do you like most about your uncle?
I don't know. Basically everything.
Aw, it's my buddy.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Austin and Sal look around at all the faces that are surrounding you.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
We love you so much. And as you claim each other as your people, know that we are all your people too. Amen.
Need a moment? Sorry. All right. Sal, my love, my best friend, my partner sans crime, I promise that I will always choose you. I will never judge you. I will always take you as you are. I promise that I will be your ally and biggest fan. I promise we will never forget to be silly. Though I admit selfishly so that I can hear your laugh and see the way you look at me with those eyes. Your heart, your compassion and empathy inspire me. I promise to show you every day that I know just how lucky I am to be your husband. I love you, always and forever.
My love, today I choose you, and I promise to choose you every day as long as I live. I promise to fill our life with laughter and sunshine, even on the days when the clouds won't seem to part. I promise to celebrate every victory and walk beside you faithfully through any challenge. I promise to always listen to you with an open heart, even if it's the 10th script idea you've pitched me that day. I promise to spend every day honoring my commitment to you by loving you, trusting in you, and being your closest ally. I promise that each day, in every decision I make, to put you ahead of me, but us ahead of you. I give you my heart fully. Knowing yours are the safest hands I've ever known. And I promise to care for you, protect you, and cherish you, never forgetting how lucky I am to have found my soulmate, my love, my husband.
May I please have the rings? You did great, Nolan. Thank you very much.
Sal, I give you this ring.
As a sign of my vow.
It's a sign of my vow.
My personal promise of love and trust.
My personal promise of love and trust.
And pride that you are my spouse.
And pride that you are my spouse.
Austin, I give you this ring.
As a sign of my vow.
As a sign of my vow.
My personal promise of love and trust.
My personal promise of love and trust.
And pride that you are my spouse.
And pride that you are my spouse.
I feel like no one can really doubt that they are one. You know, that was something that was very quick and easy to see. Right when it started happening, it was like, okay, you were meant to be. Like, it was finishing each other's sentences, and they were just on the same page.
The fact that he was just able to just like come in and just like hang out, make himself at home with us, and just like, you know, was so telling of like the person that he is. Like, he was just like so comfortable and just made Sal so comfortable too, so.
I've never felt more myself around anyone who wasn't my like immediate family. I feel like he makes me laugh and goof around like I did when I was a little kid. I feel like a little kid around him sometimes because I'm a real goof, and I'm always like doing silly voices and whatever, and he's never like embarrassed by that. He thinks it's funny, he thinks it's great, and it's like I've never had to worry that I had to be anything other than myself.
Hey, we're married.
We are
Hey,
married.
guess what? You're my husband.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
Forever. I love you.
I love you so
You
much.
look so goddamn
You
amazing.
look so handsome. Hey, you like my dress?
It's amazing.
Thank you. Is it what you thought it would look like?
No, I had no idea. Look, do you see the snow all over the mountains now? Have you been out here yet?
No.
That snow wasn't there yesterday.
I know.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get some good pictures.
Austin, now you get to share Sal with Dan, her brother, and with Jane and with me. And you know, you're sharing that little girl who would run up to me for big hugs and butterfly kisses, and who would jump up in my lap with a book because she wanted to read it with me. Of course, we had to make up voices for the characters. This is Sarah we're talking about. This is Sal. You know, it's over 42 years ago now that my sweetheart Jane, my best friend in the whole world, said yes. She'd spend the rest of her life with me, like you just did. So, you know, throughout the adventure that Jane and I are still on, we shared something else. We shared our dreams. We shared our dreams with each other, and we chased those dreams. And sometimes those dreams were little small dreams, like a little blonde, curly-haired girl who tugged at my sleeve a number of years ago and looked up at me with those big eyes of hers and said, "Daddy, someday I'd like to get married right there." And she was pointing to the Mount Washington Hotel. Do you remember that? And sometimes dreams come true. And that's a small dream. But for me, the big dream is to see you two beautiful people married here tonight. So folks, I'd ask you to share a toast with me to Austin and Sal, to share a long and wonderful adventure together. Austin and Sal.
I am really proud of them both, and I'm proud to be calling Austin my brother-in-law very soon, and couldn't be prouder of my sister.
Your sibling, if you are as fortunate as I am, gets to be the longest sustained relationship you can have in your life. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so excited and happy for how you are today. Because there's nothing that I could want more for you than how you describe your present and your future with Sal. And Sal, I'm so thankful that you're a part of our family, and that you will now be one of those most meaningful and long and sustained relationships that we will have in our lives as my sister-in-law and as an aunt to my children. We will always pray for you, as we do every day, because we can't thank God enough for both of you in our lives. There's really nothing more I feel like I could say, because today is a great, great day. So please And from the Great American Songbook, if my family can help me with this tradition, to the bride, to the groom. It's a Hamilton reference, people. They like theater. To Austin and Sal, the bride and groom, many blessings always on you. Cheers.
As we go from this place where love has been promised, professed, and sealed, let us practice love steadfastly and abundantly. You may now kiss the bride.
Austin and Sarah, I'd ask you to turn around and look around this beautiful room. And yeah, it's decorated beautifully and there's flowers and lights, but really, to me, the beauty in this room is the people who are here. Look into their faces, look into their eyes. These are the beautiful people who are here to support you and love you throughout your life, as well as many others who aren't able to be here tonight, are here to love and support you in your adventure.
I'm all jumbled up inside. You've got my number for real. Now I know how it feels to be flipped around, head over heels. You've got my number for real, like a spinning Ferris wheel. I am upside down, head over heels. You say hi, but the cat's got my tongue. Try so hard, but the words won't come. Somehow I just don't know what to say. Yeah. Marry me is all that comes to mind. If I had clarity, I know to take more time. But I feel like I need you now today. Ooh, yeah. Stuck up on this crazy ride. Yeah. I'm all jumbled up inside. You've got my number for real. Now I know how it feels to be flipped around, head over heels. Mama, you've got my number for real, like a spinning Ferris wheel. I am upside down, head over heels. The one thing that I know for sure, every single day, you've got me coming back for more. Guess all that I can say, you've got my number for real. Now I know how it feels to be flipped around, to be upside down. You've got my number for real. Now I know how it feels to be flipped around, head over heels. Mama, you've got my number for real, like a spinning Ferris wheel. I am upside down, head over heels. Head over heels, yeah.
How about I hear once again for the new Mr. and Mrs. Austin and Sal Reynolds.
I love you so much. I love you so goddamn much.